Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MMA News and Rumors, episode number 17. This is the World of Wrestling podcast, here today to discuss some interesting news that have occurred over the past week, as well as we're going to go over some of the UFC 317 card. I'm going to go ahead, cover some of my picks on that, as well as give you my three-leg parlay for the UFC 317 that I've implemented. You can either bet it as a parlay or bet them as straight bets, whichever you prefer. They are all favorites, actually. So betting them as individual bets, I mean, you could get them at a reasonable amount, but, I mean, that all depends on you. But I'm going to start bringing back UFC best bets every single week on Thursday nights following my MMA News and Rumors episodes as well, to give you guys some more insight on my betting techniques. I've gotten a little bit better on this, and I've been killing it this year on UFC picks. Several different cards. I've actually gone 9-3, 10-2. I'm fucking crushing it when it comes to picks. Some cards like Baku, whatever, that Saudi Arabia card that happened last week, fucking dreadful, but I think a lot of people suffered the same as I did. I don't think a lot of people did extremely well, especially Obion Elliott. I mean, my God, I put money on Obion Elliott. I was actually betting. You're supposed to do like 1% of your bankroll. I was at a bankroll of like $1,500. So I took $16, times it by 7. So I put 7 units in. And that's what I've been doing. I've been putting 7 units in on one fighter per card, enjoying the fights and picking one fighter to bet on. And I've been usually hitting. I have hardly missed. I think I've missed like two times this year. Once on Obion Elliott and a female fighter who I shouldn't have put money on. I should have looked a little bit more into it. And she ended up losing the fight. This fight with Obion Elliott last week was just a complete and utter shocker. I don't think a single person thought that his opponent, Kaio, was supposed to beat him in this fight. But it is what it is. That's what happens in sports betting. You sometimes win, sometimes you lose. I brought my betting down quite a bit. This week I'm betting a very low amount compared to what I've been doing all this year. Because I'm getting tired of, losing that kind of money is not exactly what you want to do. So I've kind of cut back on that. And I'm putting small amounts in instead of big, giant, large sums out of my bankroll. But anyway, let's get into some news and rumors here. First things first, I want to talk about Jon Jones. Jon Jones reported to Dana White he's retiring from the UFC. Now, some people are taking those words and saying, oh, well, maybe he's retiring so he can go somewhere else and whatnot. I highly doubt it. He's been talking about retiring for a very long while now. He hasn't been able to do much of anything. He's dealing with a lot of legal issues too. I honestly think the guy is a complete and utter waste case. I hate the fact that he goes into the octagon talking about Jesus Christ, because I am a big believer in Jesus. But to sit there and talk about Jesus and then have the kind of lifestyle you're living consistently all the time, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfect Christian. I don't do everything right, but, I mean, come on, man. Isn't there a line that you just don't cross? And, breaking the law should be one of them? I mean, come on. Not to mention, he's got one of the greatest... He is, by far, the most sad thing about him is he's one of the greatest UFC fighters that ever did it. And yet he has a terrible reputation outside the octagon. That absolutely sucks. I hate that. And he's also fake. He's not real. He's not a true Christian. to me. He talks about Jesus, which I think is great and all, but he doesn't live anywhere close to a Christian. And, you know, it's one I'll admit, I cuss like a drunken sailor on here and everything else, but Jon Jones just does not, he's not the greatest person in the world. And he doesn't have any balls. He was constantly pressured for the last year or so for Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall has been the interim champion, longest interim champion in UFC history. I've never seen a person walk around with an interim title for as long as he did, and Jon Jones refused to face him. To be quite frank with you guys, I think Dana White was being very biased towards Jon Jones, being very supportive of Jon Jones, who was on his way out. And honestly, I think Jon Jones was afraid of Tom Aspinall. I mean, some people might debate that with me and say, oh, he's not scared of him, he's just getting old, he wants to retire. Well, why didn't he just do that at the UFC event that he had? When he defended the title the last time on UFC 308. Why didn't you just do that? And take this idea of a Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones fight taking place. It was never going to happen. I never thought it was going to happen. I would have loved it to happen, but Jon Jones is too much of a fucking scaredy cat to get in a ring with Tom Aspinall at his age. Maybe when he was, you know, in his prime, and he was a heavyweight fighter, sure, I think he would take on that fight. But he doesn't have the galls to just do the right thing, have the fight with the guy, and prove to the world that even Tom Aspinall can't beat him. Had he done that, and then retired, now one person could say he wasn't the greatest of all time. And even if he lost, who could say that he wasn't the greatest of all time to begin with? So what? He took an L. Anderson Silva took an L in his career, losing the middleweight championship after like 10 plus title defenses. I mean, come on, man. You can't do that. You can't say the man wouldn't have been the greatest of all time just because he lost the title to Tom Aspinall. I mean, that's just plain fucking stupid, in my opinion. I mean, Anderson Silva lost the title to Chris Weidman. I mean, come on, man. Nobody says a fucking word about Anderson Silva being the worst fighter of all time because he lost to Chris Weidman. This is clearly just shows the audience, the fans of UFC, that Jon Jones is a fucking chicken shit. Plain and simple. I've heard his interviews before. Like, he stated one time, I'm not worrying about my legacy. I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to face Tom Aspinall if I don't feel the need to face him. And he called in to Dana White this week and announced that he's retiring from the UFC. And he's done. So it was anointed to Tom Aspinall. He is the official heavyweight champion. So Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall talks is over. Now, can we get to Tom Aspinall being a defending heavyweight champion now? Can we see him actually get into the octagon and knock some fucking heads off their shoulders? Please. I'd like to see that. I don't know about you guys. But me personally, that's something I'd love to see. I like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is a very entertaining fighter, and I just love what he does in the octagon. I am starting to love MMA more than boxing. Boxing, I'm going to point this out to you guys. yes, I love UFC because of the betting portion of things. But during the time while I was doing one bet per card on one fighter, doing a straight bet, I literally was sitting there and just screaming my fucking fool head off, even if it wasn't a bet I made on a fighter. I use Tapology, I'd make my picks and so forth to have some fun with it. And I sit there and I watch these fights. And I kick back and I relax and I enjoy myself. Some of these cards, some people say they're shit. I actually enjoy, believe it or not. So, me personally, I guess maybe I'm a casual, you could say. I'm starting to get deep into this shit. I'm starting to understand it more and more. That's why my picks on the Tapology for these cards have gotten better over time. And I literally am just enjoying sitting here watching it every Saturday night, man. I fucking love UFC. You guys know for a fact, the people that are wrestling fans on this channel, I cover WWE and AEW. And I will tell you what, I've covered UFC on and off throughout the years while I've had this YouTube channel. I never stuck with it. I am sticking with it until I ever decide I'm done with YouTube completely. But I don't think I'm ever going to be done with YouTube. I continue to slowly but surely build growth on this channel. Viewership, if I just stay consistent, which is one of my biggest problems on this channel, I apologize to you guys. I just got so much shit that I do between work, my hobbies, and everything else. I get burnt out, and I think I just do too much. I need to, zero in on specific things, and other things that I don't need, I should just get rid of and not pay attention to. But I have other things I'm interested in. I like playing video games. I like watching old UFC events. I like watching old wrestling events. I'll sit back when I'm in my free time and just chill and watch different shit. And it's just something I like to do. It's entertaining and whatnot. I like looking at sports. Looking at, I like using Fliff. If you guys are just starting out with betting, I highly recommend Novig and Fliff. They're two great tools for just entertaining betting instead of risking your own money. You can literally bet with virtual currency that they give to you automatically. It's fun, enjoyable, gives you something to do while you're watching the game. It gives you a reason to root for the team and whatnot, and it's fun. I mean, granted, it's not as fun as trying to win the cash, but then again, if you're not doing so hot betting with your own money, I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of stupid. It's just a waste of time. But this year with betting on UFC, I've been fantastic. Like I said, betting on a straight bet for one fighter per card, and it's worked out great for me. So I've learned to enjoy the sport more than just worrying about betting on everything and everything on the UFC cards, because you're not going to get them all correct. That's number one. Number two, the odds on them are not always the greatest either. Some of them you have to parlay just to get a good odd on one betting ticket. So that's just my overall statement about betting on UFC. But the sport as a whole, for entertainment purposes, to kick back, relax, have a couple of beers with the guys and all that, that is just fun shit. And I just fucking love this sport. I really do. This and I do still watch boxing. It's hard for me to keep up with it while also watching UFC because they run the same time with each other on the same day. So they overlap each other, so it makes it very difficult to watch that. And I just love this fucking sport, man. It is so much fun to kick back and watch and whatnot. And I I love the idea of trying to figure out and puzzling how the fights will unfold, how to predict it, and so forth. Sometimes it's really easy, and sometimes it is extremely hard. I utilize a lot of different YouTubers who specialize in the sport, know a lot about it, are been following it for a hell of a lot longer than I have. And I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of this entire card, who I think's going to win, who I think's going to lose, and then give you guys a couple of bets. Maybe I'll give you a bet for each card, possibly, but we'll see about that. I don't know if I'm going to do all of that. But if you guys do want to follow my bets, and don't want to risk the money, like I said, take Novig or Fliff. Novig actually gives the best odds. If you compare the two between Fliff and Novig, Novig gives you way better odds than Fliff. Fliff's odds are way overinflated. But yeah, I'm going to go over that with you guys in just a moment. I'm also going to cover WWE's Night of Champions preview and predictions. We'll go over that. This is going to be a long fucking night, so strap in. We got a couple other stories we're going to go over here, and then we're going to move into the UFC best bets after I upload and get done with giving you guys the news and rumors on some UFC articles that I've come across over the past week. So, Dustin Poirier was in the news, I think today. Yeah, it was today. Just recently at 8 p.m. And Dustin Poirier is actually being very supportive of Justin Gaethje's request after UFC 317. Either he gets the title shot or he retires. And Dustin Poirier believes that Justin Gaethje should get the next title shot for the lightweight championship. I think I totally agree with him on Justin. I think Justin Gaethje should be getting a shot for this title. I honestly think that Dana White is trying to protect Tapoya. Not that he really needs any protection, because he's one of the greatest stand-up fighters I've seen in the UFC in a long time. Justin Gaethje's right up there. He's one badass son of a bitch, and he can knock some people the fuck out. But yeah, I think that Dana White's kind of protecting Tapoya. Tapoya. Because Charles Oliveira, he's good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on him. I mean, I even stated, I think last week, I stated that Charles Oliveira, I mean, if you wanted to bet on him, I wouldn't blame you. There's more money involved if he was to win. But his chances of winning is very, very slim. I don't know how the flying fuck Charles Oliveira is going to pull this off against a guy that is really good. 16-0 in MMA, has been untouchable, beat one of the biggest names in UFC in the featherweight division. Volkanovski. Andy Volkanovski, I think is, or Andrew Volkanovski. He beat his ass. Beat him. And Volkanovski got the damn title back at UFC 315. I mean, that's crazy. And Lopez, I thought, was going to win that fight. He didn't, unfortunately. And that really kind of pissed me off that he lost that fight. Or wait, it was 314, excuse me. Yeah, so I mean, that was Alexander Volkanovski, excuse me, not Andrew or any of the other fucking names I came up with. Alexander Volkanovski is the guy that ended up winning back the featherweight title after Tapoya left. I mean, shit. Volkanovski is a tough son of a bitch. I like the dude. I've always liked him from day one since I've seen him fight, and he's a good fighter. And for Tapoya just to knock his ass out, unbelievable. Now, Charles Oliveira, my opinion, he does have a chance at winning this fight. He'd have to win it by submission. That's what he specializes in. But he'd have to get past the shots that Tapoya throws. Tapoya, I do believe, has a good takedown defense. Let's see what his stats are currently right now in that. Give me 1 second here, and let me pull him up. So I'm on the website of UFCstats.com, trying to load his stats, and yet it won't give it to me. How perfect. Good job. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. So now I got this up. So, yeah, Ilia Topuria takedown defense is at a 92%. Oh my gosh. Good luck, Charles Oliveira. You got no fucking shot. If your specialty is taking your opponents to the ground, submitting them, and all that jazz, guess what, man? And you're going up against a guy with a 92% takedown defense, where it's very rare that he can be taken down. I'm going to go with Topuria to win this fight without question. I don't think Topuria is going to come close to losing this fight. This is going to be a one-sided ass beating. I think the odds being a minus 525, I got him at a minus 475 in a parlay, which I'll go over with you guys in a little bit after I'm done doing this news and rumors. I honestly think if you wanted to throw a bet down on the specific round that Topuria wins in, I would say Topuria wins in the first round. Without question. I think he's going to be able to knock him out in the first round. If you want to stretch it out, maybe the furthest this fight goes is about round 3. That's as far as I would say this fight goes. So my attitude is I'd bet the fucking knockout on Topuria. There's another option. He's really good with submissions. I never knew this about him because he's been knocking people out in the UFC, but he also has a very good submission game as well. He's won 8 fights out of 16 of his fights by submission. And that was before he got into the UFC. Only person he has submitted was the crazy Christian. Trying to remember his name. Bryce Mitchell. Yeah, Bryce Mitchell, he submitted by an arm triangle. And he beat him. So that's the way I see it. I either see him winning by submission or by knockout. If you want to take both sides, you can. I mean, you'll be risking one or the other. But I mean, it's worth the shot. I mean, let's say you were betting $5, bet $10 on the knockout prop because it's a minus 190 on Hard Rock, and on the submission side of things, let me take a look here real quick. Kind of getting ahead of myself. Should be talking about this on the... I'll go over this again with you guys on the other video. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. The submission is plus 550. So yeah, if you went with $10 on that, which is minus 160, and you went with the submission for like Okay, so let's say you do 10 on that, you're getting $6.25 back. And if you do 5, you're getting $32 back. So, I mean, technically, you're not getting a whole lot back by betting $10, truthfully. But if you bet the 5, you're not going to get much back. So, here's what I'd do. I'd actually bet 20 on that. That way you're winning at least $12 back. You get $12.50 back. And on this end, you're winning if you so happen to lose the $20. Or actually, let's drop it down to maybe like, let's say 16. Yeah, let's do $16. So yeah, if you do 16 on the knockout prop, you're getting $10 back, of course, because it's a minus 160. You do $5 on the submission, you're only going to lose $5. So you get a total of $5 back overall, which is the full unit that you're trying to bet if you're betting $5 total. So there you go. And you're still making money and you're good. And if you happen to lose on the $16, you're still benefiting more money anyway by the submission taking place, because you're getting $27.50 back. So you're getting $11.50 total from losing on the $16 side. So there you go. You got your money right there. Either way, you're going to win. I don't know if you can do that on a sports book, on one sports book. I think you would have to do that on a different sports book to pick the other prop to hit. But yeah, that would be something you could do. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that on the same sports book. That is the only sports book I have available to me. Novik does not provide the option of props on that either. So that is kind of an issue. But yeah, I think Tapoya, he ends up knocking out Charles Oliveira in between 1 to 3 rounds. The first or the third round, between there. And that's what I would do. That's what I'd say, how I'd predict that fight to go. But anyway, Dustin Poirier is in agreement with Justin Gaethje on the next UFC fight, UFC lightweight title fight, for Justin Gaethje to face the winner of that match. And Gaethje expressed that he was upset that Oliveira got the vacated title fight over him, and expressed his frustration towards the UFC. He says it's a title fight or a bust, and Poirier isn't against that option. I think Paddy's getting closer, but I wouldn't think they would give him a shot right now. Poirier told MMA Junkie he did beat Michael Chandler. Maybe one more big win, and he's knocking on the door. Obviously, Arman Tassarian, UFC reaching out to him and putting him as the backup. They have still high hopes for him getting in there for the title, but to me personally, I would pick Gaethje to get that shot. I agree. I really do. I think Gaethje has been there long enough. He has earned his stripes. He's earned his right at the title. He is in the top 5. If you're ranked in the top 5, I don't see why you can't get a title opportunity and challenge for the championship. Paddy's got many years on him still. He's got plenty of time left. I think he's in his late 20s, early 30s. So he's still got plenty of time. And I'd say Paddy Pimblett gets the next title shot after Gaethje. So that's the direction I see UFC going. I think that's the most appropriate and respectful thing to do towards Justin Gaethje, because the guy's getting up there in age, man. He's still rocking it with all the guys that are in the UFC, But the man deserves his stripes, man. He deserves another shot, another crack at the title. I think Tapoye and him, he could have a puncher's chance at this. I think Justin Gaethje could have a puncher's chance at knocking out Tapoye. But Tapoye ain't easy. Would I put my money on against Tapoye? Probably not. I think I'd be a little stupid, but hey, you know, you got Justin Gaethje as a fucking underdog and you got a puncher's chance. I mean, I guess maybe you could take the chance and just bet a little bit of money out of your bankroll and say, hey, here you go. Let's see if this rolls in my favor or not. Chances are you won't win, but fuck, man, if you're only putting a little bit down that you can afford to lose, who the hell cares? It's not like you're throwing your money away. You're taking a chance on someone that's an underdog that might actually pull through with a lucky shot to the face and knock him the fuck out. It can happen to anybody. So, and Justin Gaethje has been known for his knockout power ability. If he can find a placement to knock out Poirier, he's got the win. Most definitely. I think it's definitely possible. Charles Oliveira, I do not see this fight going his way because he doesn't have that puncher's luck type of situation going on for him. He's not well known for knockouts. He's been known for getting guys to the ground and doing jiu-jitsu, submission holds, all kinds of shit. And that's what he specializes in. And that's why I'm saying that even if he gets Tapoye down to the ground, Tapoye could always pull off a submission to get the victory. Even if he gets a takedown, he could submit him. And I honestly think that might actually happen, believe it or not. I've been thinking maybe knockout, but that could also be a possibility too if he happens to get lucky with a takedown on Tapoye. And that can happen. Charles Oliveira is a good wrestler. He's a good grappler. But his age, his career of damage he's taken over the years, I just think that Tapoye is just a fresher fighter and has a higher probability of winning for you than Charles Oliveira. Just my opinion. I honestly see that's going to be the way it goes anyway. I don't see Charles Oliveira becoming the UFC lightweight champion. Just my thoughts on that. If that happens, I think everyone's going to get blown away because I think everybody is on Tapoye. Charles Oliveira, I mean, I stated it once before. I said Charles Oliveira is one dangerous dude. But, he can be cracked. I've seen some footage of him recently where he's been knocked down. Even in getting a W, he's been knocked down. Tapoye gets him knocked down, he ain't getting back up. I'm just saying. That's just my attitude on that shit. Plain and simple. Alright, last article we're going to go over here, and then we're going to move into the UFC 317 preview, predictions, and best bets for these fights. Like I said, you can tail them. You can bet them individually. You can parlay them if you want to take that risk. I would not recommend parlaying every pick that I make because one wrong and you're fucked. Anyway, this is going back to Jon Jones' retirement. Tom Aspinall responded today about Jon Jones to retiring. And Tom Aspinall says that Jon Jones is entitled to do whatever he wants. No ill will for retiring. So, Tom Aspinall didn't have a hard time coming to terms with Jon Jones. Obviously, he knew he wasn't getting that fight. Because Jon Jones, again, like I said before, is a chicken shit. It was always rumors of him retiring, Aspinall said on the Diary of a CEO podcast. He's putting stuff out in the media saying that he's retiring because MMA, especially at an elite level, is quiet. is difficult. You hear rumors a lot. I heard rumors from people close to him that he's going to retire and that he's not living like an athlete. Obviously, getting in trouble with the law again, which is mentioned earlier this week as well. Not that I really give a shit about his legal issues. Jon Jones calling it a career. Aspinall has now been promoted to the UFC heavyweight champion. That also means Aspinall has been on the sidelines for almost a year now. Thank you, Jon Jones, for all the bullshit. And won't get his big title unification bout with Jon Jones. I think that he's entitled to do whatever he wants, to be honest. Aspinall said of Jones, he's done way more in the sport than I have, so he should do whatever he feels is right. Speaking as just a fighter here, for me personally, I don't know if my ego could take it having not done it. But honestly, that's his prerogative. I'm taking little stabs there, I think. I don't hold any ill will against him for it, and I'm happy to move on with my career now that it's over. I agree, because you were wasting way too much time worrying about Jon Jones and not staying active and defending that interim title and going on I would have just went ahead and told Dana White, look, the guy can either shit or get off the pot. You either go ahead, give me the fight with him if he wants to take it, or otherwise get me in that fucking octagon and let me continue to prove that I am the true UFC heavyweight champion while I'm holding the interim title and knock these fuckers out and keep egging him on. I do like maybe 1 or 2 extra fights in the year and just egg his ass on, fucking inflicting his ego and just poking the fucking bear and hoping to God he finally comes to his senses and realizes, hey man, I'm the greatest that ever lived. I'm the greatest that ever did this. I have no problem facing you. I am not afraid of competition. You want to say you're one of the best that can stop me and put an end to my undefeated streak outside of that disqualification I got? Go for it, big boy. That's what I would have done if I was Tom Aspinall. At least stay active, defending the title, being a defending champion of some sort, even though he doesn't have the legitimate title and he's looked at as the interim champion at that point in time. I mean, that's what I'd have done. It might have gotten Jon Jones pissed off enough to say, hey, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm going to put an end to this big mouth's ass and beat the living tar out of him. But never got any of that. So it is what it is. It was asked, would Aspinall fight Jones if he decides to come back? With where he's at, he can jump the queue anytime he wants. Aspinall said, a year down the line, we'll have another 3 or 4 contenders knocking on for a title shot, but anytime someone like him wants to step up and says, listen, I want to fight again, they're going to get an immediate title shot. So I'm never going to count that out. I'm in a spot in my career where there's not all that much footage out there on me. Maybe he sees something on me in the next few fights and thinks, you know what? I can beat this guy. I'm going to come back and beat him. So mentally, I'm never counting that out. The fight could always back up and come back around on me. That's something that I would obviously accept. Of course you would, because you got fucking balls. You're a fighting champion. You're a guy who wants to prove that you're the best. And if that means you got to go against the best and possibly take an L, then that's what you're going to fucking do because you're a fighter. That's what fighters do. That's why I don't like boxing. I do like boxing, but I don't. I have like a love-hate relationship with it. I've come out and stated many times before when I was doing these boxing news and rumors about boxers who have all these different fights they have available to them and refuse to take it. Probably either because they're worried about the fact that they can't beat them or because they're not a big enough name to them for them to face them. So they don't want to give them that big payday with their name on it. So their attitude is, fuck that chump. I'll go with someone else that I know I can beat and still make a shitload of money while beating their ass. I mean, Tank Davis is definitely one of them. But yeah, I'm just not really happy with Jon Jones. You know, Jon Jones, if it was a Vitor Belfort, he would have taken the fight. If it was Randy Couture, he'd have taken the fight. Hell, even fucking Brock Lesnar would have taken the fight with Tom Aspinall with his knockout power ability. I really believe Brock Lesnar would have taken on a fight with Tom Aspinall. I don't think he would have dodged him while he was the champion. Fuck that shit. I think Brock Lesnar was one of the most entertaining UFC fighters in the history of heavyweight fighting. He's done outstanding shit for that sport. He brought WWE professional wrestling into the real world and showed that there are some people in WWE that can actually fight for real. And I greatly appreciate him. You know, he may have not been holding the WWE flag up over his head representing the WWE, but coming out of there, being able to become famous based off of his character from WWE and transition that act into a real world fighting shit, you know, I think that's fantastic. And I don't think he would have passed up a fight with Tom Aspinall like Jon Jones did. Just my opinion. But at this time, there's nothing more I need to talk about. We will move into the next video after I upload this one. So you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.